Because I'm back. Is that the one?
Told my wife, I said, I'm going to go up to Barnes Hospital now. And all the way up there, I'm going, Lord, I hope he's not already gone home or something like that. Share, scary stories. And somebody,
You're perfect in all your ways. Hail, hail, O Lion of Judah. How powerful you are. How powerful you are.
told my wife, I said, I'm going to go up to Barnes Hospital now. And all the way up there, I'm going, Lord, I hope he's not already gone home or something like that. When I got up there and found his room, he wasn't in his room. And I'm going, oh, no. But his
What?
In a world where algorithms and financial incentives dictate the information we see, it's easy for important stories to slip through the cracks. This is powerful because it can heavily influence and divide public opinion. Much of what I do on Software Underbelly is about digging deeper and trying to see beyond our own biases. And this is why Ground News is a perfect fit for my channel. On any given news story, their app and website combine every article published on it worldwide. We can also see
so many great recommendations.
How
Yeah, Fire TV serves up the best options from all my apps in one place.
There are two huge reasons why I believe there is nothing to fear when it comes to death. Reason number one is going to appeal to a more scientific-based, analytical person. And reason number two is going to appeal to the more spiritual person. But they're both great reasons, and they both make me not fear death. Number one, and I saw this so significantly when becoming a hospice nurse. I didn't totally see it when I was an ICU nurse, but then after like the first year becoming a hospice nurse, to truly see how the body biologically helps us at the end of life was mind-blowing to me and totally made me not fear death. Because biologically, our body is built to live, built to survive birth, and built to help us die. And I saw that firsthand, and I still see that firsthand as a hospice nurse. So let me explain. I've said this before in other videos, but I'm just going to keep reiterating it so everyone can hear it over and over again. Our bodies are biologically built to die. When the body knows that it's getting towards the end of life, especially on hospice when you're dying a natural death. You're dying from something, but you're allowing the natural progression to happen. Mechanisms kick in that are built into the body to help us.
In a world where algorithms and financial
I could hear this bitch's
In a
testimony.
world where algorithms and financial incentives dictate the information we see, it's easy for important stories to slip through the cracks. This is powerful because it can heavily influence and divide public opinion. Much of what I do on Software Underbelly is about digging deeper and trying to see beyond our own bias. In a world where algorithms and financial incentives dictate the information we see, it's easy for important stories.
Get the fuck on.
In a world where algorithms and financial incentives dictate the information we see, on any given
Get the fuck out of here.
forming an educated opinion on scandal.
And they didn't believe me. But when it started coming out, people were like mentioning me like, you were telling the truth about it. And I'm like, duh, I'm not gonna lie about something like that. And I kind of like tried to briefly talk about it because I knew it wasn't gonna seem true because it was just too much. It was too
crazy.
It was too crazy. People were gonna think that I was just lying. It had like a lot of people involved, celebrities and stuff. So So I was trying to be real vague about it, but that party traumatized me
How'd you get invited to it?
by being with a prince that I met in LA. He lived in Glendale, California. And, you know, long story short, I got out of this crazy little contract and I was looking for somebody to invest in me. And I knew somebody who knew somebody that was like, I want to introduce you to a prince. He know a lot of celebrities, producers and stuff. So I never put two and two together that this prince knew P. Diddy as
And you
the
say
producer.
a prince. Prince of what?
He was a Arabian prince.
Really?
Yes. And he really was a prince for real. But I wasn't worried about him being a prince. I was worried about who he actually knew. So when he invited me to, he met me, he said, I want to invite you tomorrow to Music Ultra Week, whatever. And it's like an event, Ultra Music Week. It's like an event for like 2 weeks where people party, including P. Diddy. And they party at Club Live. They party at, like, just in South Beach, Star Island, stays or throws all that. And I never knew that we were going to go there because I was there for 2 weeks and I knew it was something fishy. He kept saying, I got a surprise for you, I got a surprise for you. I'm like, but I'm only supposed to stay for 2 weeks and I'm here longer than 2 weeks. And it was almost a month. It was basically a month by then. And he was like, no, because I just want you to meet one special person. So he ended up telling me, like, when we went to Club Live, he was like, guess where we're going tonight? I'm like, where? He's like, to P. Diddy's house. I'm like, oh, really?
This game, you're not ready for it.
Shut up.
I'm like, that's crazy because I hear a lot about P. Diddy, and I'm like, his house for what? Like, to go sing? He's like, no, he's throwing this wild party, da-da-da. I'm like, oh, okay. So we went from Club Live. It ended at, like, the clubs end at, like, 3 or 4, and not 2, like how out here is. So we waited around the mansion, the Prince's mansion, for about an hour. And then 6:30 hit, we went. We all got in the car, like a big Uber, and me and all the other girls. Now, mind you, I'm the only black girl. So I'm like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm about to meet P. Diddy. Oh, you know, like, I'm probably going to have to sing for him. And I just tried to, like, keep my composure. So we get there, and that's when stuff got weird. And that's why they lock up our phones, because they know what we see in there, you know, it's he can get in trouble, like right now. So basically, we arrived, security guard patted us down. They put our phone in this little bubble case. So the bubble case is closed. They can't get unlocked until we walk out. So as we're in there, the only way of us taking any type of pictures is if we get in the photo booth. He has like a Team Love photo booth or whatever. Take like 4 pictures. So I, you know, got pictures. I still got everything in my Snap too, like of the photos, everything. That's all you could do. So I'm walking around or whatever. One of his sons, I'm not going to tell you which one, but it was like recruiting like whoever they wanted to go inside the house. Because the freak off is inside the house and in the backyard. So you have the pool, and they're playing loud house music, like Mark. The house music, it makes you feel kind of woozy, first of all, because it's like a rave or something. Dun, 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 and it's real loud, so you can't really see nothing, but you're seeing everybody like walking around drunk. It's still 7 a.m. So the sun is like coming up, and people are walking around naked, period. Let's get into it. They're walking around naked already, and they're in the pool skinny dipping, and they're drinking mimosas in the pool, but then it's like a waitress walking around giving people drinks, just passing people drinks, you know, and people are just taking them. Me, I don't drink like that, but I'm like an occasional drinker. Like, I'll drink if we're partying or whatever, just for that occasion. So, because people are going to keep saying, drink, drink, drink. But I didn't take a drink yet. But I just had it in my hand. So one of the sons seen me walking. Mind you, I'm with other girls, but we split up. So I was walking with one girl. She's a Puerto Rican girl. So P. Diddy's son was like, you. And I'm like, me or her? And then he was like, no, you. Come here. So I went to him, and he gave me some shoes. So these shoes was like some terry cloth, like robe shoes, white shoes. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with these? He was like, go in the house with these. He was like, everybody who gets these shoes, you get to go in the house. But I'm thinking you could just go in the house if you want to, but everybody can't go in the house. They're literally selectively picking who they want. So I'm like, well, what about my friend? He was like, no, only you. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm holding the shoes. I'm walking around. You know, I'm a good, loyal friend. I'm not going to go inside a house where they say my friend can't go. So we just walking around mingling. But we tripping out, looking at everybody like they off everything smoking and jumping around like hooligans. And so I seen P. Diddy or whatever, and I seen him with the Prince. I'm not going to say what he was doing, but something really, I get real nervous. Something real crazy, because I don't like to really expose people. I could talk about me, but when it's about, like, me, my family, because it's us. But when it's other people, bro, doing something real sexual, that's all I'm going to say. So that we can see, and so that we can get turned on, okay? So he's doing something with himself. And I'm like, girl, do you see him? She's like, yes, but mind you, we're screaming like, girl, do you see him? Oh my God, because of the music. And I'm just like, whatever. Then he starts to act like really obnoxious, like, I'm the king of the world, jumping around, doing all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, that's regular P. Diddy shit. But what got me was how he walked up to me and was like, why are you not in the house? And I'm like, what do you mean? He like, how are you enjoying my house? So we had a little talk or whatever. He started talking about all these things. Oh yeah, you're the one that, you know, I seen was telling me about the Prince. He's like, oh yeah, it's very nice to meet you. Like your life is not gonna be the same. Da 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 da. We started talking about going to Cuba. Are you going to Cuba with us? I'm like, what? And that's the thing. I didn't really know about this. So this is when I start asking around or whatever. And I said that in the last interview. But to get to the point, I ended up going in the house because he was on me, like, going to that house. I'm like, okay. And then the person that he was dating at the time, we're not going to say her name, but we all know, she came and was like looking at him like, what are you doing? Because he was talking to me for too long. So she came to like rub on his shoulders or whatever, and he just pushed her. And I'm looking like real uncomfortable, like, oh, I know what this is about. I don't want to be in the middle of there, whatever. So that's what made me go into the house, because I'm like, okay, let me just go in the house. So I told my friend, like, wait right here, girl, let me just put on these shoes, see what this house is about. Walk up in there. I don't judge people, because at the time I was just smoking weed. But you know when people are out of their mind, and you know when people, you know what you don't want to be a part of. And it's just like, I'm seeing stuff that you see on the movies. This corner, this got going on. This corner, they over here doing this. This corner, they over there having sex. This corner, I'm just going to say, because I don't know what I can say, because I'm not trying to be incriminating myself, but they were dressed up like little Harajuku Barbies.
Like what?
Little people. Okay, we're not going to say what type of little people, but like a fetish. And I'm looking like, what are they doing here? Like, dressed up, little red lipstick, like, they weren't supposed to be there. But I'm just looking like, maybe it's some type of production going on. But why would they be at this party at 7 o'clock in the morning with grown people? Like, maybe it's some type of production going on. But why would they be at this party at 7 o'clock in the morning with grown people? Like, why would they be here? So I was just like, okay, whatever. Like, but then when I'm looking in this corner, this person laid out, and I'm looking like, what's going on? And I'm seeing like Instagram models or whatever. I'm like, oh hey, so I'm looking at this person, like kind of comfortable. Like, she's here. Oh my God, she's here. And then I see P. Diddy, you know, walking through the house like with his eyes on me, like, you know, like, is this, you know, you see, like, are you agreeing with this? Is this? And I don't. Now, mind you, I still got my friend out there. So I walked out of the house and I'm telling her, like, oh my God, bitch. Like, this nigga is, oh my God, she like for real? But I'm just like, I'm not even tripping. Like, oh, well, like, this nigga's weird. Like, you know? So I'm really looking at the situation like, I don't even want to be involved in this type of stuff, because once I see something, I can't get it out of my mind. And I'm like a hypochondriac. Like, I keep on having flashbacks about it. So, whatever. So, of course, I come out, and then here he goes again. And another rapper, well-known rapper, comes and starts feeling on me like, hey, you. So now it just seems like everybody is faded at this point. They're either drunk or on all the drugs, obviously, with this house music. So now I just feel like trapped in. Like, I don't like it. And I know the devil when I see it. Because by me being so spiritual and tapped in, I know when something is not right. I'm not judging, but I just don't want to be a part of it, because how am I going to get out of this shit? Like, I'm already here, And then I heard conversations or whatever, and then P Diddy was like, that's the one that I want. I want her. So now I feel like, you know, they plotting on me. Like, did you bring me here on purpose? Like, is this the, you know, producer you was talking about? And I came here specifically with the Prince to rub elbows with people, to network for the music week. But then I put some together like, the Prince has been saying your life is never going to be the same. You're going to be happy. Somebody's expecting you. And I just feel like that was the time that I was going to get sex trafficked or, you know, drugs or something like that. And then they kept trying to make me, like, I've been around celebrities before. If a rapper wants you or somebody wants you, they're not going to do it. They're going to send somebody else to do it. So if a waitress is coming or another girl or a pretty girl or a guy, they'll stick somebody on you. Like, take this drink, do this, do that. And then you just feel eyes on you, like watching to see if you're going to do it, when you're going to do it. So I already know what time it was. And it's crazy because I had to leave that place. In my last interview, I told you I had to escape. I had to leave from the Prince because he was telling me we was leaving for Cuba the next day. Cuba with who? With P. Diddy or what? Like, this is all crazy. So to see all of this stuff come out, and I escaped by leaving. I had to call the police and everything. I had to leave with the Prince. That's another story. From the Prince, from that house. I didn't leave with the other girls. I had to get my phone unlocked, of course. But, like, I had to, like, catch a taxi, not even an Uber, a taxi, to another location. And then I ended up going to the airport, and I ended up leaving. Because I just felt bamboozled. I was getting lied to about how long I'm supposed to stay there. Then you keep talking about I'm supposed to meet this producer, but we're not talking about nothing with music, but you're talking about going to Cuba. We didn't even do what we were supposed to do in Miami. Or did we do what we were supposed to do in Miami? After this freak off. But because I'm not cooperating with what I see, and I feel like that's what the Illuminati and stuff is about, like a secret society. Like, they want to see what you allow, what you cool with, and then next thing you know, boom, take that drink, you're drugged. Take that, you're out of it. Take that pill, because everybody was off something. But you had to be being in that environment like that.
How many people were at this event?
Like hundreds. Even when it was a certain amount outside, but in the house was really crowded. You know what I'm saying? And you would think that, like, it was more people in the house.
And you walked around?
Yeah, I walked around for about 5 minutes. I seen what I need to see. And I was like, no ma'am, no sir. Because it was like selling your soul at that house. And if you like that, it's nothing to you. But if you're not like that, you're going to feel uncomfortable. And then it's like, at first I used to think P. Diddy was like, so he like, if you like that, it's nothing to you. But if you're not like that, you're going to feel uncomfortable. And then it's like, at first I used to think P. Diddy was like, so he like, he always talk about team love and all of this stuff. Like, he's all about, you know, he all about sex itself. And I know sex because I've dealt with men. So I know when somebody is trying to lead you on to stuff and sitting back acting like he just this macho man. And he is a charmer though. That's one thing. Like, he will charm the fuck out of you. But for me, that's so game tight. I'm like, I know what this is. And I'm ready to get to the music. Like, if that's the case, you should have been like, don't tell me you about to change my life and da-da-da. Oh, have you been writing? Oh, that's nothing too. Like, have you been writing? I've seen been telling you to write. Because the Prince wanted me to write out all the songs I ever made in my life. I said, without the beat? He's like, yeah, just start writing songs. So you never know. They'll take my music, drug me, do whatever, and just throw me away, basically. Or after you have something on me, when we do the music, you have that on me that this happened, and now I'm blackmailed or some shit like that. So, touching all on me at that party, even the rapper who touched all on me, like, that rapper was cool. Like, I was liking that rapper. But when they were like, hey, you and doing all that, what can I do? All I could do is just say, like, move his hand, like, oh, I'm fine, but, you know, trying to, like, still be cool. But I'm like, why do everybody feel comfortable to just touch on you? Even P. Diddy, like, why I look up and you're right there, and then like in my face, like, are you like in my house? Like, look, like it's weird. Like looking at him is like when you're a kid and you're getting in trouble by your parent and you can't look them in their face, and it's like a demon. I'm telling you, like this dark spirit, like he possessing you as he's looking at you. That power, that control. So I'm like, I read The Art of Seduction, motherfucker. I know what you're doing, and you're trying to really seduce me right now. And oh, take a drink. Oh, do this, do that. Go in there. Like it's just not nothing. And I want to know why me go in the house and why not the girl. So now you're picking and choosing. So it's fishy to me. So when all this stuff started coming out, I was like, I knew I was right. I knew it. Like, it ain't no doubt about that P. Diddy was doing all that. And like I said, I don't judge because I've been around people doing cocaine. But these hard drugs that they was doing and just, I ain't gonna lie, it was orgies and stuff going on. So all of this stuff going on, I'm like, why is people doing stuff all in the open? Like, that's just offending me and assaulting me, period. Because where am I at? I didn't sign up for this. And how can I really get out? So I had to like ease my way on out. You know, it's security, but they not caring about what happens as long as that phone is closed. They damn near don't care if somebody died up in there. Ain't nobody can film it.
And they were famous people or not?
It was a whole bunch of famous people. It's security, but they not caring about what happens as long as that phone is closed. They damn near don't care if somebody died up in there. Ain't nobody can film it.
And they were famous people or not?
It was a whole bunch of famous people.
Yeah.
Like 4 famous people and then some Instagram models. And the whole time he just was like trying to undress me with his eyes. And I was thinking like, this is really no cap. Because at that time, I've always been skinny. So at that time, the son who came up to me, I was like, boy, is it because I resemble your mom? Like, you know, like Kim Porter, like stuff like that. Like, you just never know. Like, I feel like, you know, P. Diddy does have a type. I feel like everybody that was in that house, it was a certain type of person. It was a certain type of something that he wanted and what he liked. And you could just tell, like, he get whatever he wants. That's why he has no problem touching on you, being all in your face, popping up on you, being obnoxious, and just hounding you until you do what he say. And that's just how the industry is already, especially him, because he got a lot of money, you know?
Because you're a singer as well, right?
Yeah, so they probably like, do you want this opportunity or what? And I'm like, not that damn bad, but I do want it. I do. But if I already got a bad vibe and I'm seeing stuff that you're into, I already know how this is going to be. So I don't want to, like, you know, ignore some red flags and then I'll be in trouble because of you. Literally in trouble. Like, we know his past, like, Shine, the rapper, you know, being in jail because of him. Like, don't think just because I'm from where I'm from, you could just do anything. And that's why I never really said nothing about it, because I just feel like, who am I? You know, he got money. Like, ain't nobody gonna believe me. But I have all the receipts. I have it all in my Snap to this day. It never went nowhere. That was just my experience just being in Miami for the first time. I didn't know that I was going to end up at P. Diddy's house.
Did you take photos outside the house?
When I got my phone back, yeah.
Videos or something?
I took videos when I was going to the house before I knew this was some weird shit. And then when I got my phone, I ended up, recording. And then I had the shoes on.
Oh, you had the shoes?
I left with the shoes on because I don't know where I put my shoes at when I put those on. And it was a lot going on. It was real loud. So, I don't know. It just tripped me out. And I was like, is he gay? You know, like, and nothing against gays. I couldn't put my finger. I was like, what is this dude into? But his house, his freak off. No, not like that. You know I'm going to make everything to a joke. But this is a real serious situation because it'll traumatize you, because now I ain't trusting no producer. I look at everybody like, if I went to the top of the top and I've been looking at him like this top-notch mogul and like whatever. But child, it's a lot. But it's some stuff, you know, that I did leave out because I don't want to say too much. But because I told you there was some celebrities in there. But for these girls that did get drugged and did take these drinks, I feel like it's because everybody was all having fun. You know, you wouldn't think that somebody would do something like that to you until you get to seeing everything. And once you're intoxicated, it's too late. It's just too late. So that's why you gotta watch what drinks you take. And they was just pushing them on us too much. Take a drink, take a drink, take a drink. And I'm like, no. Because I was already, you know, sipping a little bit at Club Live. So I wanted to, like, mind you, I'm thinking, like, he gonna ask me to sing in a minute. I don't want to be toe up, you know? Until I put two and two together. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you got out and survived.
Yep. I'm always surviving. This is no joke.
You're
like,
a survivor.
For real. And it's like, I'm still going through stuff. You know, you don't survive being traumatized. And these things do traumatize you because it's like, dang, I can never get around this. I could always end up to this, sex. Or some creep shit. Or somebody taking advantage of you or something. Or feeling all on you and you can't do nothing because...
You thought the streets were dangerous.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you. But, yeah. So I just want to see, like, you know, what's going to happen because I know a lot of people was... He went to trial today. And I didn't even know.
It's going to be in the news for a while, I think.
It's going to be in the news, and a lot of stuff is going to come out. So, don't be saying I'm lying, because I wasn't lying.
This is all alleged, but
right.
Sounds like it's pretty consistent with things that are in the news.
Right.
And you did say this, what, like 2 years ago?
Exactly. And I told you I got sex trafficking vibes from it, remember? I was like, he was trying to sell us. The Prince to Dick. You know what I'm saying? Which one do you want? Which one? I want that one.
What does it feel like to be peddled off like that to somebody powerful? Is it?
It's scary. It's scary because what could happen, but it's like, come on, you know, I'm honored to be
chosen.
Chosen. Period. But I don't want to be.
It takes dedication and focus to be an all-pro dad. The good news is you don't have to work on the fundamentals alone. The all-pro dad...
Motherfuckers.
I don't want to end up in a ditch somewhere, you know, just because he's choosing so many people and assaulting people. I don't want to be assaulted, and I don't want to be filled up. If you're going to fill me up, make sure you ask me, can I touch you? You know, you're beautiful. You, not just you in my house so I can... And I'm like, this is weird. You know, like, tell me first, fool. Because I would have charged you nothing. But, and I would have charged you nothing. But
you're in his house, though. You don't get to.
And I just
you should say,
you know,
okay,
it did hurt my feelings. So, you know, whatever.
if you don't want to, then we'll let you go.
I was like, I'm cool on music, bro.
That would scare you out of the industry.
Yeah, like, I'm, like, this is what this all they want. Let me just make an album and sing and write. You a producer, ain't you? But no, you're a freak and a creep. Yeah, ask permission first, because you know, no means no.
Well, it's nice to see you again.
You too.
You look more beautiful than ever.
Oh, thank you.
Love your outfit. All right, Janine. Thank you very much.
All right.
In a world where algorithms and financial...
Told my wife, I said, I'm going to go up to Barnes Hospital now, and all the way up there I'm going, Lord, I hope he's not already gone home or something like that. When I got up there and found his room, he wasn't in his room. And I'm going, oh no. But his roommate, this older gentleman, said that he had gone downstairs, so I went and got soda pop and just kind of waited around for a little bit. And I went back up to his room. There he was sitting there, and I said, "Do you remember me?" And he said, "Well, kinda." He looked at me, and I said, "Mike Hawker." He said, "Yeah." And the thing is, I had just caught him. was being discharged that day.
I think it's disrespectful.
He was waiting on the doctor's orders to come in. Had I delayed my visit with him, like if I'd have gone up this morning instead of yesterday, I would have missed him and not known where in the world he was going. Because they've closed down now. It's October. It's after October 1st. October 1st was the deadline for those homeless tents to be packed up and gone. And so I wouldn't know where to look. But now I do. And we traded phone information. And I took him a big old King James Bible, big as a back door. And he looked around in it, looked for a place, you know, to put your name and stuff, and there wasn't one. So he said, would you do that? And I said, yeah, to my friend Derek and, you know, Pastor Mike Hoggard, Jeremiah 33:3. And we had a pretty good conversation yesterday, and it was just good. You know, number one, you see somebody that you used to know in days gone by, somebody you went to high school with or whatever. There's always somebody out there that needs help.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Just in talking to him a little bit yesterday, he's been banged up pretty bad. He went to Afghanistan to serve his country after 9/11. And he lost some people over there. I think an exploded their vehicle, and according to him, he was the only one to survive, and that was the first time he had problems with that foot. It blew his foot almost to pieces, and that's the same foot that he had amputated. He served his country, and what really sticks out to me in that whole situation with him being homeless is surely as a nation we can do better. We take these young people, we take them in the prime of their life, and we send them into very, very dangerous situations to fight very evil people. And mark my word, people, the Middle East is very evil. It is extremely evil. And the kind of evil that we're not used to here in America. We send these people over there, they come back in various states of disrepair, whether physically or emotionally or both. You know, my uncle, my dad's brother-in-law, was a World War II Jap fighting Marine and fought on those Japanese islands and had his buddies get World War II emotionally or both. You know, my uncle, my dad's brother-in-law, was a World War II Jap fighting Marine and fought on those Japanese islands and had his buddies get blown apart by Japanese mortars and grenades. And when he came back from World War II, my dad said he saw him literally jump in a moving car into the back seat of the car because of the backfire. That's what you do because you're saving your life. If something makes a sound, you better detect. And of course, a lot of these guys, you know, they didn't have drugs back then, but they had a lot of alcohol, and a lot of these guys in World War II came home, crawled inside of a bottle. And that's how they dealt with the things that they did and the things that they saw. Yes, I mean, it was right and righteous for us to fight that war in World War II. We were fighting for our country. We were fighting for the liberty of Europe, and especially of our closest ally, Great Britain. And we were ridding the world of very evil powers back then. absolutely the right thing to do. But in the process of that, those men saw part of things they had to endure. And so anyway, you pray for your veterans. You pray for people that have come back from Iraq, Afghanistan, Vietnam. Listen, some of those Vietnam guys are still, to this day, having difficulties. They are. And you pray for these people, and if you can help them out, you do it. It is the right thing to do. Especially our Vietnam guys. When they come back, they got called baby killer and everything else. They didn't deserve that.
You don't fucking
And
know that.
what they deserve now, though, is a handshake and a thank you from a gracious nation. Is what they deserve. All right, that's from a gracious nation. Is what they deserve. All right, that's soapbox A that I'm on now. Couple of things of interest that are going on in the world as we speak. I saw a video of this, and let me see if I can put this on the screen for you. Do you remember several years ago the Slender Man stabbing? Morgan Geyser. She is requesting to be released. Judge denied her release in April, saying she remained a risk to the public. One of the women accused, she wasn't a woman when she did this. One of the women accused in the Waukesha Slenderman stabbing case 10 years ago is once again asking to be released from the Winnebago. I didn't know they kept them in Winnebagos. How do they do that? But anyway, from the Winnebago Mental Health Institute, Morgan Geyser, 22, filed a petition Friday in Waukesha County Court. A judge denied her release in April, saying she remains a risk to the public. Geyser and Anissa Wire were 12 when they repeatedly stabbed a classmate in a park. They said they did it to please the fictional character Slender Man. Do you know what Slender Man is? Let me pull up a Google image of him. Slender Man! There he is, right here. Okay? All of this started out back in the early days of the internet. There was a website called Creepypasta, and it was for like preteens and early teens and teens get together and share, scary stories. And somebody says that they invented this character of Slender Man. However, there are some interesting things in history that's predate what showed up on Creepypasta. I didn't know that there was a Wikipedia article on it. But anyway, Slender Man is supposedly this sort of ghost figure. He was featured in the movie Phantasm, which I don't recommend. I don't recommend a lot of those movies from the 80s. Not only are they gory, they're very indecent. But anyway, in Phantasm, the mausoleum owner, or the funeral home owner, was a very tall, slender man dressed in a suit and tie, and he had the ability to pick up caskets, and just tuck them under his arm like that. And he supposedly had some sort of gateway. It's been years since I watched the movie, but some sort of gateway into hell. And like I said, I don't recommend the movie. I'm not going to go back and watch it. There's some things I don't understand about it, didn't understand it back then, that I probably would understand now. But anyway, they mention here the fictitious character of Slender Man. However, Slender Man fits the description your spirit is. I have absolutely zero doubt that what both of these young ladies, Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weir, that they both heard from a spirit, or at least one of them did. I think Morgan was the one who had the contact with Slender Man. Geyser pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree intentional homicide. The girl survived, by the way. She was stabbed 19 times, something like that. She survived and was sent to a psychiatric hospital. Weir pleaded guilty to attempted second-degree intentional homicide and was released to home supervision in 2021. Now, both of these girls are obviously over the age of 21, and this one girl who was the ringleader of all this, she is the one who claimed that she was in contact with Slender Man. And if I remember right, it seemed like Slender Man had told her that he was going to kill her family or something like that. This article and another thing that I saw said that Slender Man promised both of these girls the right to be his servants or his slaves if they killed this girl. Now again, the world looks at this and says, well, since Slender Man is a fictional character invented on a website called Creepypasta, it's basically a figment of imagination, and there is no reality to it.
I kind of differ.
How wrong they could be. Again, I believe totally that this Morgan Geyser heard from Slender Man, a spirit taking on the form of this fictional character, making him no longer fictional. Now he's real. And when you add to that, what does the Bible say about a familiar spirit or somebody that has it? Regard not them that have familiar spirits. So at best, let's see, where'd it go? Nope, that ain't it. Where'd it go? Nope, that ain't it either. I got too many, here it is. I got too many windows opened up. Anissa, at best, should have disregarded what her friend was telling her. But apparently she bought into it as well. A willing accomplice. Leviticus 20 verse 6, and the soul that yearneth after such as have familiar spirits, and after wizards to go a-whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul and will cut him off from among his people. Look at there. Imagine the Bible saying something like that. Leviticus 20 verse 27, a man also or a woman that hath a familiar spirit, or that is a wizard. Something I've noticed
I'm
in
gonna
the Bible.
fucking beat you.
But familiar spirits are always mentioned in connection with wizards. Here it is here. 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 And let's see, that's Andorra. Right there, 1 Samuel 28. 2 Kings 21:6, there it is. 2 Kings 23:24, there it is. That mentions why Saul died, because he asked counsel of one that had a familiar spirit to inquire of it. Here it is here, 2 Chronicles 33:6. Why so many connections? Isaiah 8:19 joins familiar spirits with wizards that meet. Isaiah 19:3 does it. Isaiah 29. Oh, I gotta read this one. If you've ever talked to somebody or somebody talked to you, maybe they tried to get you to do this. Something called whispering prayer. It is a form of contemplative prayer. Ignatian Contemplation, named after Ignatius de Loyola. Mentioning to you whispering prayer. They would tell you, oh, you hear God's voice whispering on the inside. Look at what Isaiah 29 says. And thou shalt be brought down and shalt speak out of the ground. Now, where did these familiar spirits come from? Where did Endor bring them up from? The earth? And thy speech shall be low out of the dust, and thy voice shall be as one that hath the familiar spirit. Out of the ground, and thy speech shall whisper out of the dust. Now that's how familiar spirits speak. In a whisper. These people will tell you that that's God's voice, and that's how God spoke
Come on, guys.
to Elijah, where it says, you know, God was not in the wind, and he was not in the fire, but he was in a still small voice. They say, see, that's God whispering to him. No, the words in the Bible mean something. A still small voice is the opposite of a whisper. A whisper is making nothing but breath sounds. It sounds like this.
No.
My vocal cords are not activated.
And still small voices. Still.
Small voice is what this is.
It's their voice.
That is God speaking to you, or at least you should test the spirits. But clearly, God has this in the scripture, that familiar spirits whisper, and God doesn't. He's got a voice, and he uses it. And so anyway, that was interesting. And then we've been following this story for several years. Abby and Libby.
Oh.
Let me put this story
Oh, yeah.
in Delphi, Indiana.
Oh, wow.
A horrible, horrible murder case. They are selecting the jury. Let me click that. They're selecting the jury. They started yesterday. They have it almost done, I think, today. Jury selection begins in the trial of 52-year-old Richard Allen, who is charged with killing Abigail Williams and Liberty Sherman. Both those girls, I think, were like 12, 13 years old. I actually stood in the place where the two girls' body was found. It's an eerie feeling. It really is. The
Abby was
idea
so
is
cute.
that Richard Allen, this man that you saw in the big, not this guy, and not Erica Lau Menendez, not that guy. This guy here. But anyway, I hate it when they cycle through all these stupid news stories. But anyway, the idea is that this Richard Allen guy, I had heard, or I had read somewhere, that there was a pact between him and two other guys where they were going to kidnap these girls and hide them for fun. And, yeah. But something went wrong, and they found the two girls murdered the next morning. Somebody had driven them over. Just outside of Delphi is this park, city park. It's a wooded area, and it's a place where an old railroad track used to be, and there was an old railroad bridge that spanned the river. And back then, you could walk down that bridge and so on. And people used to go for walks there. They still do. The park's still open. People go for walks there. They walk their dogs there. People ride their bikes. They jog or whatever, whatever it is people do. They just go out to go down to the river and, look in the river. And I mean, it's a pretty place. It really is. But they released a picture that apparently one of the girls took on her phone. And they recovered her phone along with that picture, and they released that picture. They had interviewed this Richard Allen, and he told them, he said, yeah, I was in that park in that, in that area, and they asked him what he was wearing, so he described what he was wearing. Well, he described basically, he apparently didn't know a picture was taken. So he told him that what he wore. Well, when they looked at what he said versus, the picture, they're going, I think it's the same guy.
Yeah, that's
There
crazy.
Was a partial recording that the police released of the man saying, get down the hill, which is where they
down the
eventually
hill.
found their bodies. We don't know if there was more to that recording or not. We don't know if there was any more pictures taken or not. But they did release that one picture and that little partial recording, and the police announced about a year and a half ago that they had a suspect, Richard Allen. There was some controversy about his lawyers. They got that all cleared up, and they're going to trial now. Now, there is, and I don't know if this guy's guilty or innocent. I have no idea. If he's guilty, I think he should die.
Yes,
I think he should die.
technically.
But anyway, there is the defense attorneys are laying out a case whereby there is an alternate version to this story. Allegedly, the girls' bodies were positioned in a way that indicated, and there was a marking on a tree of a character in the rune alphabet. Go to Google and type in runes, R-U-N-E. There is an alternate theory that says there is a group of people in the Delphi, Indiana area that are referred to as Odinists, meaning they worship and they ritually practice worship of the god Odin. And you remember Odin is the god with one eye. Apparently he can rule the world with one eye closed.
Hold on.
It's permanently closed. And in that sense,
Okay.
get this now, in case you don't know this. There is a verse of scripture that describes that. It's in Zechariah 11:17. Woe to the idol shepherd, I-D-O-L, that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm, and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. Even in the Marvel movies, Odin's
sick
got
of
a
y'all
patch
sick
over his
fucking
eye,
satanic.
and eventually Thor ends up losing his eye as well. This idea of the eye on the back of the $1 bill supposedly is referred to here by Zechariah 11. They call it the eye of providence, or the eye of God. But my God has two eyes. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but my God has more eyes than your God has. God has two eyes. Jesus has got 7 of them. Oh, you don't believe that? Revelation 5. Go look it up. They represent the 7 spirits of God. But anyway, they don't release any photos of the girls' bodies because I think they were disrobed. Somebody said you can get them on the dark web. I don't know where the dark web is. Don't want to know where the dark web is. I'm going to leave that alone. But I've seen a diagram of the way the girls' bodies were laid. And especially one of them sticks out to me. If you look up, I'll do this one for you. There is a tarot card. Let me do an image search here. Click, 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 click. There is a tarot card. I put this on the screen like this. Here we go. It's called the Hanged Man. And the way his arms are tied behind his back and the way this leg is laid here is approximately the way that one of the bodies was laid. And I'm not sure exactly what it means. I'm not sure if this is actually a part of the Odin theology or whatever, if what meaning it might have to Odinism. But that's just what I saw when I saw this diagram of the bodies. I could be totally wrong. Wouldn't surprise me if I'm wrong. I'm right every now and then when I read the scriptures out loud, which is what I'm about to do now. But anyway, number one, I'm asking you to pray again for Derek. He's no longer homeless. He is, I think he said he's staying in the VA home up around the St. Louis area, and I'm glad that he's got a place to stay.
Get over there.
Obviously, now he has to go
The fuck?
around with no right foot. And,
Poor guy.
but, you know,
Oh my
he blessed
goddamn.
my heart yesterday.
Fucking.
I
Third
gave him the
catcher.
Bible, and we talked for a while. Then I had prayer with him. I told him I would be broadcasting today, and I sent him the link to it. And he said, before you go, he said, give me a hug. I said, sure. So I leaned over. You know, he was sitting down in his wheelchair. Well, he stood up. I hugged him and told him I was really glad to see him again, and told him that we would be praying for him, and I appreciate those of you who have prayed. I told him that quite a few people were praying for him, and like I say, he's been banged up pretty bad by the system, the Veterans Affairs, you know. So anyway, just pray for him
I'd be
and
safe
the others
and
that are like him,
warm
all right? Now,
if I was in LA.
I mentioned, let's see, it wasn't last week because I wasn't here last week, but that October was going to be paranormal month. We actually, yeah, I have this information from a guy named Perry Normal, and boy, I wish I had my sound effects today.
Paranormal.
And, from a guy named Perry Normal month. We actually, yeah, I have this information from a guy named Perry Normal, and boy, I wish I had my
Paranormal.
sound effects today. One joke after another here, and I got nothing to say that it's a joke.
Gwynver Beach is a white sand beach just north of St. Ann Cove in West Cornwall, England. Because you have to go through some winding roads and sand dunes to get there, lots of people drive by that area without even realizing it's there. But for a YouTuber named Jacob Conkle, this was home. In 2011, Jacob started a channel called Whirlpool Hitman,
I
where he would
remember that
upload
one.
footage of his adventures swimming in whirlpools.
At Harbor Freight, we do business differently from the other guys. We design.
I am a wild robot.
Someone's right out there. What do I do? I couldn't tell what he was holding.
And I cried getting up morning very well. Very
The man can be seen
well.
walking through the woods toward the front entrance of the factory. To make matters much, much worse, it appears as though the man has something in his hands. And from a distance, it's impossible to tell whether it's something as simple as a flashlight or a potential weapon. Oh my god. Is that a gunshot? I think it was. He had something in his hand too that must have been a gun. Over the next few minutes, Jared does his best to find a way out undetected, which is much easier said than done when you have no idea where a potentially armed man who probably knows the layout of the building much better than you do is hiding. And just when it seemed like Jared was going to make it out undetected, this happens. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Oh, it's just me. You scared me to death.
Get over there now.
What?
Sit down. Get your handcuffs.
Oh.
Put them on. Got it?
Okay.
Did I put them on or you put them on? Take.
Someone's right out there.
Yeah, that way you turn in front, okay? What's going to happen is the police is going to come and then you take your name and get you for criminal trespassing. It's nothing these days. It's a lot better than me shooting you, isn't it?
Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
What'd you shoot at?
Shoot it. See people, I shoot at them. If they run, you shoot. There you go. Be cool, nothing will happen, okay?
Alright.
It's alright. I'm not gonna shoot you. don't you see, something says, use of deadly force? What do you think that is?
I thought that was kids spray paint.
No, that's me telling you I'll shoot you. Nobody else is with you, right?
No, it's just me.
Okay, I see somebody, I'm gonna end up probably shooting them.
Oh no, if I were with someone and I know you shoot people, I would have gotten them.
Okay. I just don't want, they say, wait, they scare me, I'll shoot you in a heartbeat. I'm sorry.
The man, who appears to be an armed vigilante of some sort, pops out of the bushes just as Jared is about to leave and holds him hostage, even ordering him to put on a pair of handcuffs. During the exchange, it's hard to tell if the man is in his right mind, which makes the fact that he's carrying a fully equipped assault rifle that much more disturbing. At one point in the conversation, the man orders Jared to get into his car, and at that point, Jared doesn't really have a choice.
What we're going to do is we'll throw your camera and your bag in the trunk, okay? And I'll put my gun in there too. Alright? We'll get in the little red car, drive up here.
You better hope that shit never happens to me.
I'll give you a little ticket.
If he realized he was being recorded, the YouTuber later explained that the cops took an hour and a half to get there. Disturbingly, when the cops finally arrived, and while they were all talking, they saw two kids go up to the factory the same way Jared had, at which point the man looked the cops dead in the eye and said that if he saw the kids inside the factory, he was going to shoot them. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. As Jared was being taken to the police station for trespassing, the cops got a report that two kids had been shot at the factory. Thankfully, it turned out that the man was bluffing with his weapon, which was only loaded with non-lethal pellets. But still, the kids had to be taken to the hospital to be treated for their wounds. During the investigation, the man was identified as 63-year-old. Even after shooting at the two kids, he was only sentenced to 2 years probation. Since that day, Jared hasn't gone back to the abandoned factory again.
streets with thousands of...
In 2019, a group of 5 real estate investors walked into a distressed property in the Angora neighborhood of southwest Philadelphia. The visit to the distressed house started out pretty ordinarily, but a few minutes in, just as one of the investors was about to walk up the staircase leading to the second floor, they noticed something extremely disturbing.
Dude, that killed somebody, bro. There, the knife. Right there, right there. You see the wire? Right here, you see this wire going over here? It's going right in the heart. It's on a crutch.
Based on what the investors are saying, there appears to be some sort of booby trap system built into the staircase. Had any of them followed through with walking up the staircase, a seemingly innocent house walkthrough could have turned bad very quickly. After analyzing the booby trap for a few minutes, they decided to activate it to see what would have happened to the investor if he had continued climbing the flight of stairs.
Hurry up.
What is it? Whoa! Yo, that look killed you, right? Hey, look at it. Yo, that's right. No, hold on. You need to stop more. You need to start to step over. Yo, that would have got you right here. Oh my God, right in his head. Yo, you got his head.
Disturbingly, the knife comes down right at the level of the investor's neck as soon as the wire is activated. It's hard to imagine what kind of psychopath would booby trap a house like that, knowing that whoever walked up that flight of stairs probably wouldn't live to tell the tale. Even though the trap was built in a very do-it-yourself kind of way, with a rusted knife, some duct tape, some wire, and a crutch, the speed at which the knife was designed to come down right at neck level obviously means that whoever built it wasn't playing around and meant to do some serious damage. In the interview with NBC, the investor who recorded the whole thing mentioned that he was used to finding some pretty strange things in the distressed houses he often renovates. But even though he was no stranger to abandoned dogs, homeless people squatting, and drug houses with bags and scales, he had never been this close to losing his life, much less to a booby-trapped house. Shockingly, even after what happened, the investor still went on to explore the rest of the house, buy it, and renovate it. Fortunately, they didn't run into any more traps along the way. Finders Beepers History Seekers is a YouTube channel where urban explorers Matt and this channel is they always bring their dog Bear with them on their exploration, setting him up with his own GoPro camera to capture footage they might otherwise miss. In March 2023, they uploaded footage of their visit to an
What the fuck is wrong with this game, damn it?
Throughout their first few minutes of their exploration, Matt and Andy came across all kinds of old history books, kitchen utensils, and other abandoned objects, but for the most part, nothing too out of the ordinary. About 25 minutes into the visit, as Matt and Andy are sorting through dozens of history books lying around the house, this happens.
Why has that got a lock on it there for a bathroom cabinet? That makes no sense. Oh. You're just causing so much bother. Someone has just run down those stairs. Hello? We're not secure. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to hurt you. Urban explorers. Just having a look round. Hello? Have to watch it back. That was definitely somebody running down the stairs. 100% that was someone running down the stairs.
Pretty much as soon as they go up to the second floor bedroom, they hear what sounds like someone or something running down the stairs. It's pretty disturbing to think that someone could have been watching them the whole time, but despite their best efforts, they weren't able to find whoever it was. That's when they decided to review the GoPro footage on their dog Bear to see if it showed anything. And a bit before they heard footsteps running down the stairs, his camera caught this.
Wow, that's crazy.
Disturbingly, there was someone hiding under the bed in the second floor bedroom. Even though it's hard to see everything clearly with the dog footage, it's pretty obvious that it was a person hiding under the bed. After the encounter, John and Andy continued to explore the house for another 20 minutes, and they confessed to feeling pretty on edge after leaving. To this day, they still don't know who was hiding under the bed. It's pretty likely that the guy under the bed was just a squatter who was probably more scared of them and left the house in a hurry to get some privacy. But still, it must have been incredibly chilling to review the footage and realize they were never alone. Exploration Unknown is a YouTube channel owned by a guy who's uploaded countless videos of his urban exploration since 2016. In March 2019, John and another YouTuber explored an abandoned house where a woman had reportedly taken her life years after the death of her child. Just a few minutes into the video, it becomes pretty clear that the structure of the building is extremely unstable.
That floor is gone right there. It's a deep drop. These floors are not very stable. Yeah. You guys check out that fireplace.
If that falls, dude, I don't know what it's going to do to the rest of this house.
Yeah, I know, because that's a load-bearing wall out there.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of weight to hit this floor. I really notice about that right there.
Yeah, and look at the ceiling.
Get out of here before that happens.
When it comes to urbex, a lot of people will talk about the risks of running into a hostile squatter, a rabid stray dog, or the cops. But one of the biggest risks when exploring unstable structures like these is falling through the floor or having the entire building collapse on you, leaving you trapped under tons and tons of rubble. Before John and Tim even get the chance to explore the rest of the house, something pretty scary that serves as a reminder of the dangers of urban exploration happens to John.
Alright guys, I think we've decided to chance it. What do you think, Tim? Think we talked about it?
It hasn't moved in the air.
Let's just stay away from that area.
Yes.
Let's go back here to the room where the wife. You didn't fall through the floor, did you?
No, but it cracked it.
Oh man, there's a crib in here. Oh, yeah. Oh, I just fell through the floor. Ow, God.
You alright, man?
Oh,
We need to go.
we gotta get out of here.
By the time John realized the floor was cracking, it was already too late. Luckily, he was able to shift all his weight onto his other leg before he fell entirely through. Otherwise, he would have plummeted at least 10 feet into the basement below. Obviously, after that close call, the pair of explorers decided to call it a night and carefully treaded their way out of the house and back to the car. Since that incident, John has continued to upload videos pretty frequently to his channel, but he hasn't gone back to that house since.
Oh, you ain't doing this shit to me. I went for a walk on the winter's day. But no, get the fucking ads out of here. I'm gonna kill you, freaking Google. That one was creepy.
Camera to capture footage they might otherwise miss. It's pretty likely that the guy under the bed was just a 350,000 subscribers. In January 2024, a video was uploaded to the channel featuring two young urban explorers. And even though it's only been active for a little over a year, it's already grown to over 350,000 subscribers. In January 2024, a video was uploaded to the channel featuring two young urban explorers visiting an abandoned high school. From my research, the school that was featured in the video was William A. Wirt High School in Gary, Indiana, located less than a mile from Lake Michigan. Even though the abandoned building is in absolutely terrible condition in the footage, it's still clear that back in the day it was probably
faggot, I'm gonna kill you, nigger.
The auditorium seems to be
Goddamn
in the best condition,
faggot.
with the bright red seats serving as a nostalgic reminder of what the school used to look like before it was closed. As the teens are walking through the aisles, they catch a glimpse of a man holding a metal pipe staring them down near the auditorium entrance.
That's creepy as fuck.
Oh, hey, what's up, man? You want to get on out of you? Yeah. Hey, we'll leave, bro. We'll leave, alright?
Started chasing them out of the building, but stopped when they got outside. It's pretty disturbing how the guy never even speaks to the teenagers. He just starts chasing them with a metal pipe that he probably planned to use as a makeshift weapon. When this kind of stuff happens, you really have to put yourself in the shoes of everyone involved. I mean, the guy who chased them out, like usual, was probably a homeless guy who had been squatting at the school for a while. Through his eyes, the abandoned, decrepit building is his home, and having two teenagers come in unannounced to disturb your peace when you have nowhere else to go must be pretty irritating. But for the explorers who just want to have some fun in an old building, getting chased out by someone who's armed and probably not in their right mind is also a terrifying experience.
That is creepy as fuck.
In September 2020, John and Tim from Exploration Unknown uploaded a video where they documented an altar in the middle of the woods. From the very start of the visit, some red flags came up that John and Tim should probably have
sack of shit.
to leave.
You fucking nigger. I'm gonna cut your goddamn throat. Fucking bitch, get over there. These fucking cunts keep taking the cheap inventory off. Fucking nigger.
It's unclear if the two explorers are on a private or a public road.
Get over here, you little fucking nigger. I'll kill you. I'm gonna kill this nigger. Fucking honky. Get over here, faggot. Fucking nigger. Slit that little nigger's throat with the fucking axe. Oh shit.
Saw something behind you. Like this over here, somebody's private property. And I know this over here should be like public land.
After seeing the sign, it's unclear if the two explorers are on a private or a public road. But a couple of minutes later, after following the directions they were given, they got their answer.
Saw something behind you. Shh.
Oh, hold on. Hold on a second.
After getting out of his car, a man who we can reasonably assume to be the property owner points his gun at the uploader and his friend and tells them to get off his property. This is one of those situations that you just never want to be in, because on the one hand, if you yell something out to try to calm the guy down, you signal your location to someone with a deadly weapon who may or may not be in his right mind. But on the other hand, if you don't signal your location, the property owner might feel threatened. As they were running out of the woods, the man shot at them, and initially it looked like Tim fell to the ground from being shot at. But it seems like he just tripped either by something on the ground or by being startled by the sound of the gunshot. Fortunately, Tim and John were able to get out of those woods unscathed, and they never went back again. I really don't know where John got his intel about the supposed abandoned altar in the middle of the woods, but it was clearly faulty. And it's a good thing he was able to spot the guy in the car ahead of time. Otherwise, who knows if this video would have even been uploaded. Somebody's in there. Far end of the bathroom, what appears to be a human silhouette can be seen standing completely motionless. After the initial shock of the encounter, Chris draws his gun and goes back inside to confront the man.
Hello. Oh, it's a f***ing toy.
It's a shit. I'm gonna make these videos up.
Oh, it's a f***ing toy. Oh. Oh, it's a f***ing toy.
As it turns out, the silhouette was actually a scary mannequin that somebody set up, probably to scare away visitors. What's most eerie is that even though we can't know for sure how long the mannequin had been standing there before the footage was shot, for some reason it fell forward just in time for Chris to see it, the most reasonable explanation being from the sound waves bouncing off the wall. Most people would have left as soon as they saw the mannequin, but Chris continued to explore the rest of the school, seemingly unmoved by the horrifying experience he just went through. Though not before clearing the entire rest of the bathroom. Sadly, some of the rooms in the school are filled with books, whiteboards, and other perfectly usable materials that could have been donated to another school before the building was abandoned. But nobody seemed to care enough to give them away before the school was abandoned. About half an hour into the visit, Chris climbs up to the roof, which in itself is pretty risky. Even if you don't care about getting caught by the cops, there's still a very high risk of the roof caving in, especially considering the state of the building when the footage was shot. Fortunately, he was able to climb down safely, but that's when a strange noise could be heard coming from the other end of one of the hallways.
Safest do here.
His camera, it's pretty clear that not only are multiple other people in the building with him, but now he's possibly being stalked. The rooms. After this, he admits he's ready to call it a night and decides to head home, not before this final encounter.
This is weird as hell. Oh, here it is. This place is crazy.
Fuck no would I ever go to this building.
Hello?
Bet you they set the shit up.
As he struggles to find his way out of the school, the sound of footsteps can be clearly heard on the stairway directly above Chris's head. But after running up and calling out to see if he gets a response, nobody acknowledges him. Luckily, he was able to walk away unharmed and has continued to upload videos of his visits to abandoned places pretty frequently.
The Chrome extension everyone will be using.
Get the fuck out of here, you piece of shit. No, you ain't getting no goddamn ads, bitches. Faggots.
As he struggles to find his way out of the school, the sound of footsteps can be
nigger.
Buildings.
Bitch.
For the past 10 years that their channel has been active, Brian and Michael have and has since been reclaimed by nature and become a hotspot for urban explorers from all over the world. As Michael and Brian approach the location in their car, their YouTubers get out of their vehicle to begin exploring, settling on the basement as the first area to explore. After more than 4 decades of abandonment, the entire complex is almost completely destroyed, and while some of the walls are completely covered in all kinds of graffiti, some of them aren't even there anymore. With the state of disrepair of the Jemison Center, there's always a chance that the structure could collapse on itself and trap Brian and Michael inside. But as they go up the stairs to explore the top floor, it becomes clear that an unsound structure is the least of their worries.
Whoa, look at this.
Hey, not to be a jerk, but I don't give a shit. I'm Native American. This is my land.
There's somebody there.
You don't get to tell me how to talk.
Yes, see that light?
I don't really get too pissed off at them because they don't know I'm Native American. But you know, I'm fair. I don't give a shit. Google's gonna get dealt with if they don't stop their shit too.
Should I say hello?
My hackers and nobody to fuck with. They don't have the security. Yeah,
Let's go back to the car. This way.
Report now.
Somebody wanted to talk to us. Oh, yeah.
As the camera pans to the window, the outline of a person holding up a light can be seen on the staircase on the opposite side of the building. Disturbingly, as soon as the uploaders turn off their light, the other person does the exact same thing, indicating they were watching and didn't want to be spotted. Chillingly, if you rewind the footage to when the YouTubers arrived at the top floor, you can clearly see a light outside the window frame, but it's unclear if the light was coming from the same person who was watching them. After calling out and receiving no response, Brian and Michael decide to go back to their car to avoid getting jumped or worse. It's hard to know what exactly the intentions of the other person were, but what's even more disturbing is the fact that there were no other cars in the area when they arrived and when they left, which means that whoever was there had arrived on foot and probably been there for a while. Ridgely Hospital was a women's psychiatric hospital in Lancaster, UK that operated for almost 100 years from 1916 to 2013. Famous for being one of the first psychiatric hospitals in the UK that fought for the humane treatment of mentally ill patients, Ridgely Hospital housed thousands of patients and used modern treatment methods such as electroconvulsion therapy to help patients with a range of disorders, from severe depression to obsession to mania. In April 2022, YouTuber Exploring with Tom visited the site with 3 of his friends in the middle of the night. Throughout their visit, they were extremely loud and not aware of their surroundings, which is obviously not the best idea when exploring an abandoned building. Keep in mind that most of these abandoned buildings are still considered government property, which makes it illegal to trespass and explore the grounds. Still, if you disturb a hostile squatter's home by being obnoxiously loud, getting arrested would probably be the least of your worries.
I'm not scared of you.
After hearing some strange noises coming from one of the rooms, the 4 explorers call out to see if there's anyone in the building, and this is where things get a little disturbing.
Let's see what it is. It might need help.
Hello? Who?
Hello? What?
Everyone okay? Everyone okay? Keep calm. Keep calm. Man! What the? Oh, hold you up. Get out. Get out. Get out. What do you want?
Fucking idiots.
He's right there. He's right there.
As soon as one of the teenagers calls out, a man can be heard screaming from inside the room. Without thinking twice, Tom and his friends make a run for it back to their car, but disturbingly, the man isn't satisfied with just scaring them out of the building and ends up chasing them all the way to their car. It's unknown who the man was or what he wanted from them, but one of the theories that's been echoing in the comments is that he was probably a homeless person who got upset at the amount of noise Tom and his friends were making. It's probably not too pleasant to have 4 rowdy teenagers burst into the abandoned building you call your home and start yelling, laughing, and swearing. But still, it's good they were able to get away unharmed. 2006, a 36-year-old man named Vincent Filial was living in the woods as a fugitive near Lugoff, South Carolina, after being accused of abusing his stepdaughter. In September of that same year, he saw a 14-year-old girl named Elizabeth Shove getting off the school bus and decided to abduct her. Posing as a police officer, Filial arrested Shove on a supposed marijuana charge and led her to his hideout in the middle of the woods. For 10 days, Elizabeth was chained up and abused by Filial in the underground bunker beneath the hideout in what can only be described as a nightmare come true. Still, the girl was extremely resilient throughout the whole ordeal and came up with a plan to escape from the horrifying situation she found herself in. If she wanted to escape, Elizabeth knew that she had to get Vincent to like her. For several days, she pretended to be in love with Filial, and eventually the kidnapper lowered his guard, even unchaining her and allowing her to play games on his phone. One night, while Vincent was sleeping, the teenager got a hold of his phone and sent a text to her mom saying she was in a hole across the Charm Hill, that there was a bomb, and to call the police. As it was later revealed, Filial had planned to draw in as many people as possible to the bunker to detonate a bomb and take the lives of the responding officers. However, he never managed to carry out his plan, for just a few minutes later the area was surrounded by helicopters and he was forced to surrender. To make a long story short, Elizabeth was able to move on with her life, and the monster named Vincent Filial spent the rest of his life in prison, where he died in 2021 in his cell. In December 2023, a YouTuber named Big Banks visited the abandoned hideout where the terrifying crime took place. Immediately upon entering the house, the uploader finds something extremely disturbing.
I think this was the little girl's backpack that was left here. What a sad sight to see, knowing that happened.
A little girl's backpack can be seen on the floor outside the kitchen.
Hold on, guys.
Although it's impossible to confirm if it belonged to Elizabeth Shove, it is possible that it was planted there after the crime by somebody else. As he explores the living room, the uploader finds more creepy stuff, including a DVD of the horror movie The Strangers, a Halloween decoration next to one of the couches, a shank, a broken baseball bat, and a ripstick. Obviously, the fact that these items were left behind is much more disturbing when you consider the history of the house. It's heartbreaking to imagine that some of the toys lying around the floor possibly belonged to the girl that Vincent Filial had stolen. Throughout the rest of the house, several objects and pieces of furniture, including the bed in the main room, look like they were placed there much later than 2006. It's possible that the house was occupied by squatters, but because it was empty at the time the footage was shot, it's impossible to know what belonged to Filial, his common-law family, his victim, and the squatters. Thankfully, after being reunited with her family in 2006, Elizabeth went on to live a fruitful life, and the man who committed the heinous crime against her paid the price for it. Holton Avenue is a notoriously creepy abandoned street in Cleveland, Ohio. In 1913, the first Hungarian Baptist church was built on that street, eventually falling into disuse and being left abandoned like the rest of the buildings on that street. In April 2016, the body of a woman named Jessica Coleman was found there after she went missing, but unfortunately her attacker was never found. In July 2023, Chris Hill went to the location to record footage of the abandoned church, as well as the rest of the buildings on Holton Avenue. From disturbing graffiti to broken glass and peeling walls, the church checks every box you would expect from a creepy abandoned building. As he ventures into the basement, Chris finds signs that someone else had been inside the church, including an action figure of Melvin the giraffe from Madagascar that he mentions he doesn't remember seeing the last time he visited the location. Knowing that he's often not alone during his explorations, Chris set up several cameras throughout the church, and about 10 minutes into the exploration, one of the cameras on the main floor captures something pretty creepy.
That's weird.
Something pretty creepy.
That's weird. It's upstairs.
Obviously, doors don't just randomly shut themselves, and as it wasn't particularly windy that night, it's clear that someone was in the church with Chris. But after looking around for a bit, he can't find anyone in the church, and decides to head back outside to explore the rest of the buildings on Holton Avenue. If the church was in a messed up state, some of the houses are even worse, with most of them looking like they could collapse at any second. Around half an hour into the visit, he decides to explore one of the most dilapidated houses on the block, and as he's in the basement, the exploration takes a scary turn.
Actually, it looks like it's just underneath the house. It's not really a basement. Still creeping.
It's crazy.
Sorry. I didn't know I lived here.
He set this shit up.
Sorry.
God damn it, I don't need to believe in that shit.
As he's exploring the basement, a sound can be heard coming from the ground floor, and when he goes back out to find out what it is, a person pulls back the curtain. Immediately apologizing, Chris runs back out to the street, and that's when he realizes that despite the horrible state of the supposedly abandoned house, there was actually someone living in there with electricity. Clearly most, if not all of the abandoned buildings on the block were housing people now who didn't want him there, something he never encountered on his first visit. And with this newfound discovery, Chris called it a night.
The truth is, behind closed doors, the P word became my secret set.
Pervert.
God
damn it. God damn it. No, get the fuck out of here, goddamn honking nigger.
That despite the horrible state of the supposedly abandoned house, there was actually someone living in there with electricity. Clearly most, if not all of the abandoned buildings on the block were housing people now who didn't want him there, something he never encountered on his first visit. And with this newfound discovery, Chris called it a night. In February 2020, urban explorer Rhythm Rider explored an abandoned house at an undisclosed location with his exploration partner Zay Clark. According to Rhythm, the house used to belong to an old woman who had passed away. In complete contrast to most abandoned houses, most of the woman's possessions had been left untouched, indicating that the house had not yet fallen prey to looters and squatters who often take things that aren't theirs. All throughout the house, the two explorers find everything from beautiful tableware and silverware to ornately woven tapestries and a fully equipped bar. Based on the calendars they found in the house, the property hadn't been occupied since August 2018. Just a few minutes into the visit, Rhythm and Zay find something incredibly sad and disturbing.
Worried about something like this happening, and then it did. When we walked in here, we took a few steps in the door, and we saw this on the ground. Now, for those who can't figure that, figure out what that is a body stain. And you can see right there, there's a walker. So, unfortunately, it seems that the woman who lived here had taken a bad fall, landed on the floor, and that's where she expired, unfortunately. It's extremely, extremely sad to us. It took us a good 20 minutes to decide what we're going to do here, and despite it feeling weird, we figured we still need to tell the story because this is a good reminder to everybody that you need to check on your loved ones. It seemed this woman had passed and was laying here for God knows how long before she was found. So check in on your loved ones, guys.
Right in the middle of the hallway, a human body stain can be seen on the floor next to a walker, indicating that the old woman probably had a bad fall and couldn't get up. Sadly, she passed away and her body decomposed before anyone could save her, which is a terrifying way to die. There appear to be signs that the woman's family members tried to sort through things after she passed away, but overall her various belongings are in perfectly good shape, including her bathroom supplies, which were still there at the time of the recording. It's hard to watch the footage without having conflicting feelings. Even though the house is beautiful and you can easily tell that the woman who lived there with her husband was a talented, outgoing person, it's incredibly sad to see how she met her end. Overall, the footage should serve as a reminder to check in on your loved ones every time you get the chance, because nobody deserves to pass away like that. Since 2020, Rhythm with Ryder hasn't gone back to that location.
Someone's right out.
Faulty.
I'm not watching those.
Month. We actually, yeah, I have this information from a guy named Paranormal, and I wish I had my sound effects today. One joke after another here, and I got nothing to say that it's a joke. I gotta back up through all of these things now. Started at the wrong place. This is a study I did a while back. It has occurred to me, both from a study of scriptures and having some knowledge of things that are going on in the 21st century churches, not just in America, but literally around the world. You know, you could easily spotted in third world countries where the practice of witchcraft is more well known than it might be here in America. Although that's changing. But if you know what to look for, you know that witchcraft, actual witchcraft, is being performed in churches everywhere. And I'm going to explain that. It may take a couple of sessions here, but I am going to try to explain myself as best as I can. What you're looking at here is the ad that I've referred to many times. This was in the comic books that I read as a boy. And I read this thing one time, and I wanted that book. I mean, I'm like 11, 12 years old.
Oh, you motherfucker, what the fuck?
And obviously this is written for teenagers or children. Gavin and Glenn Cross, they were actual witnesses. I think they were from the Springfield, Missouri area.
Oh, you motherfuckers. God damn it, I got goosebumps. Fuckers, that's crazy.
Anyway, it actually says here, in the description of it, so simple that a child can do it. And it was promising, that you'll have power, that you can get money this way, that you can get people to fall in love with you this way. I'm in 6th grade, and now girls are starting to interest me. I had my eye on a girl when I was in 6th grade, and I guess I would have given a lump if she would have paid any attention to me. But anyway, I guess I was just too nerdy. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted this book. And I was in church here, being taught that these things were wrong. But I wanted that book. And the only thing that stopped me from buying this book,
It's my mom.
2 things. Number 1, it cost more than $1, and that's the most I would ever get for allowance was $1. And I knew that if I ordered it, if I had the money and I ordered it, if it came in the mail, which it would have, my mother would have opened the package up to see what it was that was being sent to her son. And she would have took one look at it and said, "What are you doing with this?" And that would have been the end of that. So I never did get it. But I can remember looking at it. And adults, try to remember, if you can, what it was like for you when you were a child, and the childish things that you wanted, the childish things that you did, and because you didn't really know how the world worked, you know, there was always something that we fell into that was just wrong. And at that time, I didn't understand that witchcraft was as big a deal as it is with God. I know it now, but I didn't comprehend it back then. I didn't know it back then, but I wanted that, and I was going to practice sorcery or wizardry or witchcraft or whatever, and that would have been very ruinous for me. It would have, and so I thank God that He withheld that. He used fear of my mother. In other words, knowing that my mom, if she saw that book come in the mail, she'd tear the package open and say, "What in the world are you doing with this filth?" And that would have been the end of that. And she probably would have burnt the book. And rightfully so. Parents and grandparents, you must take the responsibility of censoring things from your children. Quit trying to be their buddy. Don't try to always be on their side and see things their way. God gave you wisdom and common sense, and there are things out there that want your children. There are devils out there that want to take control of your children at the youngest age possible. Why do you think harming children now is as big a thing as it is in this country? Why do you think that? Number 1, it is ruining America and America's adults. Number 2, it is placing our children into bondage that only by the grace of God will they ever be able to climb out of that hole. I know somebody who was molested softly by his own mom. person has never had a normal life. Never. And, yeah. And why do you think this is a
Motherfucker.
big problem? Because it gets children into bondage. Spiritual bondage, emotional bondage, physical bondage in some cases.
Motherfucker.
And many
God
of them are
damn it.
never able to recover from that. Be a miracle. Be the grace of God if they do. So God says in Galatians, and this is church age stuff, not just Old Testament law. O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you?
Because he's a fan of the show, duh.
Who hath bewitched you that ye should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Jesus Christ hath been evidently set forth crucified among you? And he says later, right after that, this only what I learned. Received ye the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? So, bewitching has something to do with how people perceive that they earn salvation. In other words, if I were to attach a description of the other gospel that Paul spoke about in 2 Corinthians 11, and that he spoke about in Galatians chapter 1, I would call it witchcraft. I have said there are two types of religion in the world. My pastor friend Rich Kelly says do and done. Our religion and our religious viewpoint is
Done.
that the work of atonement is done. It's all done by Christ. But others have a different alternative gospel. It is the other gospel, another gospel, any other gospel. And it basically says you must do something in order to merit the blessing of salvation or the blessing of God in any way. Let's say you're asking, you're praying to God because you don't have enough money to pay your bills. Now this other gospel would tell you, well, God wants you to give to Him first, or you must sow a seed of faith. You must send our ministry $500 or $1,000. That's what you must do, or God cannot release His blessings to you. But that's not true, is it? That's not true. How many times has God blessed us with money, with health, with good food, roof over our head, clothes to wear, blessings that we get from the Word that we didn't deserve it? More often than not. We never deserve God's goodness to us.
Fucking nigger.
And we can never earn it. But witchcraft says that you can. But you must do things the right way, and you must say things the right way. And they will basically turn the receiving of blessings given to us by God's grace alone, through our faith alone. They will turn that over to, you must perform this ritual in order to get God's grace on you. And that in itself is at the heart of witchcraft. It is what it is. So Paul basically says, who hath bewitched you? So did you, when you received the Spirit, was it because you kept the law first, or was it because you heard the word and you believed it? And Paul's answer would be, you heard the word, believed it. It's the hearing of faith. Faith cometh by hearing, hearing by the word of God. Now, I will say this. This is my Interlinear Greek New American Standard Bible, 1984, my Cheater Bible. And I would say that this is not the Word of God. So, if this is what you have, then it's obvious to me you have to use witchcraft. You have to add things to salvation. Because you certainly don't have God's power through faith in this.
Run, bitch.
Okay? You know what? I'm going to look that up. See what the, just curious. Galatians, chapter 3. Old foolish
Ah,
Galatians.
you fucker. Where the fuck did this go?
Hebaskinen. Hebaskinen. I don't know what it means. Yeah, you foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you? The only thing I want to find out is if you receive the Spirit by the works of the law or by hearing the That's not the same. It's not the same. I'm telling you, it's not the same. In 2
You
Kings
nigger.
chapter 9, it came to
Gonna
pass that
kill
Joram
you.
saw Jehu.
God damn you.
And I can tell you, I had an experience with this particular verse one time. I knew that there was a bad spirit in our church, and I didn't know where it was. And I was like praying and depressed and burnt, and I got to get out of here. And I said, God, show me in your word. And I opened it up to 2 Kings 9. And I thought, well, it's not going to be there. And just as I was about to turn it, the Holy Ghost said, ah, 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 ah. You ever heard the Holy Ghost say, ah, 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 ah?
I don't think you would.
And he said, read it. And it came to pass when Joram saw Jehu that he said, is there peace, Jehu? And I'm looking at that and I'm going, there is no peace here. And he answered, what peace so long as the whoredoms of thy mother Jezebel and her witchcrafts are so many? And I went, that's it. That's it. There is a spirit of whoredoms and witchcraft here in this church. By that afternoon, it was gone. It was in the days when we had a daycare here at a Christian school, and there was a teacher in our daycare that I found out things after she left. But I'll tell you something that occurred to me. One of the things Jezebel doesn't like is written authority. She does not like written authority. Jezebel, Mystery Babylon the Great, will do everything in the world to keep you from reading, acknowledging, meditating on the Word of God. She'll do whatever it takes to destroy that out of your life. She can't. She hates it. So I just exerted my pastoral authority over the things that go on in this church on a daily basis, in the daycare and in the school, and I wrote them all out. And I went downstairs, just happy as a lark, handed it out to all the ladies down there, and they all received it gladly, except one person. And I didn't even know she had gone. She read that, she packed her stuff up, got in her car, and took off down the road. Instantly, that spirit was gone. Instantly it was. And so, yeah, there is a Jezebel is linked with whoredoms and witchcraft. 1 Kings 21, and Jezebel his wife said unto him, Dost thou now govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, let thine heart be merry. I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. And again, she despises the written authority of God's word, because the law said Naboth could not sell his vineyard. Couldn't do it. He would have been breaking the written law of God, the law of Moses. And Jezebel knew that. She says, I'll give you the vineyard. Now, folks, there's a lot of vineyards in our lives. Our family is one. Think of DNA. Looks like a vine, right? Our family is one. The Word of God is one. That's a vineyard in and of itself that God has passed down to us from generation to generation. We have received it freely. It is an inheritance that we have been given. And it's something that we are responsible for passing it down to our children who give it to their children. Praise be to God. Aside from salvation and my wife and family, stuff like that.
Holy Bible.
Good mom and dad, but I inherited my Mima's Bible. And when my aunt passed away, and then my uncle passed away, my cousins was going through the house, and they noticed that my aunt, my dad's sister, had our Mima's Bible, her personal Bible, and they sent it to me. They said, Mike needs this. Mike would really enjoy this.
Oh, that's cool.
And I opened it up, and I was like weeping, because my grandmother was a saint, man. She was. And you know what I found in there? You know what I found in my Mima's Bible?
Mima.
That she had counted things in her Bible.
Oh, heck yeah, it's fun.
She had counted words in a certain verse. She said there are 7 things here, and I'm just like, oh, I inherited it from my Mima. Anyway, take a look at this.
That's cool.
Harry Potter
Mima.
Bible study. Enjoying God through the final 4 Harry Potter movies. Harry Potter is wizarding, and remember, wizards are linked with familiar spirits in the Bible. The Bible study reveals how Christians can enjoy God through the final. You know what? I find it best to enjoy God by reading the Word of God. And listen, I guarantee you, nobody watches Harry Potter movies and is thinking about enjoying God while they're doing it.
You want to bet?
Nobody does. This was a moneymaker. Harry Potter and the Order of the... You know what the Phoenix is? Phoenix is the Antichrist. He rises up out of the fire, out of hell, out of his own ashes. Half-blood prince, deathly hallows. In God's world, all truth is God's truth, and all lies are Satan lies. The Harry Potter series, like all forms of media, presents truth and lies in a complicated web. The purpose of this Bible study is to help Christians take every thought captive to obey Christ as they untangle this web. Readers will develop and exercise a Christian worldview by learning to reject Satan's lies while connecting nuggets of truth from the movies to the creators of all that is good, true, and beautiful. This connection is made through understanding the Scriptures and the creating, sustaining, and redeeming work of Jesus Christ as a result of watching Harry Potter in this distinctly Christian manner. Readers will enjoy God through enjoying the final 4 Harry Potter movies. After all, enjoying God is the ultimate purpose of life. I mean, that's almost like saying, God wants you happy all the time.
He does. You're an idiot if you disagree. How stupid
The
is
Gospel
sadist.
according to Harry Potter. Spiritual journey of the world's
Sadistic.
greatest seeker. Look what they turned him into. They turned him into a Christian. And he's... I'm going to show you this. See this right here? Whoops.
See, what the fuck, you stupid knickers?
Anyway, I'm making it worse, ain't I? That lightning bolt is a reference to how Jesus saw Satan fall from heaven. He said, I saw Satan fall as lightning from heaven. Looking for God in Harry Potter. Is there a hidden meaning in the best-selling book? Yeah, there is, but it doesn't have anything to do with God. From Tyndale House Publishers, William Tyndale would roll over and vomit in his grave if he found out they were using his name to promote witchcraft. Gospel according to Tolkien, Visions of the Kingdom in Middle Earth, Finding God in the Lord of the Rings, the Gospel according to Twilight, Woman, Sex, and God.
Okay, we're done.
That's another thing. Parables from Twilight, a Bible study. So God says, regard not them that have familiar spirits. In fact, let me read something else here. Something that, when I was doing this interview with Southwest Radio, and Micah Van Huss, I like him. There was something that just jumped out to me. Deuteronomy 18. And he said, now, when thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, notice what he says. Thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. So, you dress your child up as a ghost. You know, when you're poor, that's the easiest costume to come up with. Is take the old sheet, the old pillowcase, and you're a ghost. But you dress your child up as a haunting spirit, or a witch, or a vampire, or Harry Potter, or a magician, a warlock, wizard, werewolf, Wendigo, Bigfoot. Dress your children up, and they're taking on this role of these things. Let me show you. I probably, yeah, I did. I read something. Yes. There is a race of spirits called the Ishi. Now it's spelled A-O-S-S-I. And I found out that there is nothing from the Gaelic, Celtic, or Welsh languages that is ever spelled like it sounds. For instance, Samhain. Samhain is Halloween. It's on October 31st. Samhain is spelled S-A-M-H-A-I-N, but it's pronounced Samhain. The Ishi is pronounced A-O-S-S-I, but it's pronounced Ishi. Okay? They never, ever spell it out the way it's supposed to be. But anyway, for this particular, when they had festivals, concerning, you know, at the time of Samhain, they would dress up as these, what they call them, these under-earth spirits. Now think about that. Where did the gods come from that the woman at Endor brought up? they came up out of the earth. So God's ascending out of the earth. Well, that's who the Ishi are. They're like the fairies in Ireland, Scotland, and England. And they live in mounds. They live under the earth. They come out at certain times of the year, like around October 31st, because there's this. They say that Samhain is a liminal day, Liminal, liminal, and what that means is that the boundary between their world and our world is permeable, which means that these spirits can come over into our world, or we can go over into their world. You know what you're seeing here? Sons of God, daughters of men. Dun, dun, dun.
Bum, bum, bum.
And that's what that's about. And people would dress up like these fairies, like these Ishi, or the Tuatha De Danann, which is right here. They are was around a long time before. Here's some of the other names of them: proud angels, noble folk, good people, air demons, excessively proud people, ferrymen. Ferrymen, young moundlings, host of the churchyard. Their churchyard is the graveyard. Host of the dead, mound hosts of the Tuatha De Danann, the noble or the gentry. They literally have mounds all over Ireland, Scotland, England, and the Native Americans and First Nations people in Canada. They were mound builders. You know what those were in the Bible? High places. And I guarantee you that gods always inhabited the high places. Always did. So anyway, God said, you shall not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. Don't dress up like them. Don't pretend. Now, you know, you take everything with a grain of salt. I bought my grandbuddies. I stopped at an Army surplus store, Interstate 44, going down to Breeze last week. And I bought my grandbuddies. They either got a choice of an Army canteen or a real Army cap, Army or Marine cap or whatever. They had different kinds of them and so on. And a lot of the boys, a lot of my grandsons, they chose the hat. They liked the hat. And so they're wearing the hat. And Malachi, my youngest one, he come in to me they were staying the night at our house the other night, and he came in wearing that hat. It was a Marine cap that he had on, and he come in singing, I may never march in the infantry. That was the cutest thing in the world, okay? There's nothing wrong with it.
You want to bet?
But when it comes to presenting yourself as if you were one of these
You want to bet?
creatures, or one of these beings, or one of these persons, I think what God said there, I think it applies. But in Leviticus 19, regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I'm your God. In other words, you don't go to a wizard to have him tell you about God. You don't. Leviticus 20 verse 6, and the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits, and after wizards to go a-whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul, and will cut him off from among his people.
Oh shit.
It seems rather clear. Now, we used to, when I was a boy here, growing up, we used to have Halloween parties all the time here at the church. And I remember we had some good ones. Okay? But once you learn what October 31st really is, and I'm going to say this, a I am almost as sure that human sacrifices will also take place. We live in America.
I'm gonna kill you, nigger.
I would say surely it is. Surely it is. See, the devil's people, they don't have boundaries like you and I have boundaries. I could no more attend a human sacrifice as I could participate in a human sacrifice. I couldn't be part of that. I have the Holy Spirit. But there are people whose lives, their hearts, their minds, their souls have been turned over to the devil gladly. Listen, this whole Diddy thing, this thing has the potential
Get over there.
of being one of the most explosive scandals in United States history. Already, about a half a dozen pop music, movie stars have left the country. You know why? They moved to places where extradition is not always guaranteed. They're trying to get away. Sort of like Prince Andrew, Randy Andy. He knows that if he sets foot on United States soil, he's going to be arrested by the FBI. No doubt about it. So he's never, ever going to be able to come over here again. Thank God.
I'm like, shoot that motherfucker.
Diddy thing, it's not just greed and lust. It is spiritual. It is very deeply rooted in witchcraft, pagan, tantric rituals, and so on. And I guarantee you, at those parties, that you didn't have to look hard to discern evil spirits all around that place. I heard that Denzel Washington went to one and was there just a little while, and he stormed out. And he's like, hey, never going back to them ever again. He calls himself a Christian. I don't know about that. But apparently he had enough sense to get out of that place.
He's a Christian. Who are you?
What was going on there, he didn't want anything to do with. So, Deuteronomy 18 mentions a charmer, familiar spirits, a wizard, or a necromancer. All that do these things are an abomination of the Lord, and because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee. God drove out the predecessors to Israel in the land of Canaan because they were doing those things. So what does that say about us? And especially, what does it say when your church gets involved? Remember that logo? I'll have to find it. But it's not now. But in the first year of publishing the New King James Version, they put that on there. And that symbol there was what got my attention and caused me to do studies and research into symbolism. Because I looked at that and it didn't look right. It didn't. And I read in this New King James Bible that Nelson's answer to this was the triquetra is an ancient symbol symbolizing the union of the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. They are three, and yet they are one. But then I found that verse in the book of Acts where it speaks of the Godhead. And it says, "For we ought not think that the Godhead can be graven with art and man's device." So we have God saying to us that there is no artwork or device, which that's what that is. It's a device. It's a symbolic device. There is no artwork or device that can represent the Trinity. And if Thomas Nelson says that's what it is, they're lying. So who do you believe? I think it's always best to believe God. It's almost like God knew that they would come along years later, publish a Bible, put that symbol on it, and tell everybody it's a symbol for the Trinity. It's almost like God knew that. Well, he did. That's why it's stated in the book of Acts. We ought not think that the Godhead can be graven with art and man's device. So I don't think that. So I thought, I want to know what that is then. Well, it's a witch's sign. If you remember the TV show Charmed, those witches on there had a book called the Book of Spells, and it had a triquetra on it. Now the triquetra in witchcraft represents the three women of witchcraft. You have the maiden, which is a young girl. You have the mother, which is an adult girl, woman. You have the crone, which is the aged wise woman or the hag. And all three of them are represented by those almond-shaped pieces that make up the triquetra. It is not a symbol for the Trinity. It is not.
Shit.
Now, obvious to me, very obvious to me, is this idea of ritualism. If you've ever noticed, there is not one single ritual mentioned or listed in Scripture anywhere. The closest that we have in the church age is what Jesus said.
What Jesus said. What Jesus said. In the valley of the valley. Wrong lyrics. Oh, Jesus said. Oh, Jesus said. In the valley of the valley. He's the bright and morning star.
And that's not going to work.
He's the very often thousand. Everybody ought to know.
Some principles out of the Bible, and they turn them into a script. And the idea is you must recite the script the way it's written. You must make the hand gestures that we tell you to make. You must say the certain words. This is why a lot of Catholic churches around the world did not want to go to a non-Latin Mass. And the idea that the Priest A in Philadelphia and Priest B down in Argentina. They're going to be saying the exact same words. Why? Because they're all written down in a book of the rites and practices of the Catholic Church. Down as part of a ritual. And so if a mass is said in Latin, rest assured those words came right from what the Vatican told those people to say. And it's the idea, again, that if I say these words, and notice this priest, he's got the Eucharist in his hand, he's holding it up to God. Every priest in the world does that same thing. They will, when they're reading the Bible, they'll have a boy or somebody, a helper, hold the Bible there for them. They take their hands, they go like this, and they say the words. And then they do this. And then in the Mass, you know, the priest, for whatever reason, has got filthy fingers. So as part of the Mass ritual, a ritual towel
Looking at
is
my
there,
body
a
for
ritual
years by satellite.
pitcher is there with
Whoa.
holy water in it.
So carry
The
me.
water is
I'm just a
ritualistically
dead
poured over
man
the
lying on the
fingertips,
carpet.
not the whole
Can't
hand.
find a
The
heartbeat.
fingertips
Make me
of the
free.
priest. He takes the ritual towel, wipes his hands off, gives it back to the boy or the deacon or whoever, and now he is able to hold the Eucharist in his clean hands. And they say that the symbolism of the water going over their fingers now has been applied to their entire body. So now their entire body is pure in the eyes of God. Do you believe that? Not for a minute do I believe that. That's what they say. Now their whole body is purified. Now they, as the priest, can take this piece of metal,
Take these broken wings and let it fly again. And live so free.
or
And when we hear the voices sing, Book of Love will open up and let us sing. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. I love that song. God.
this is my body. They say the magic words,
Take these broken wings.
wafer up to heaven.
Bum, ba, dum, bum,
Jesus
bum.
then comes down in bodily form,
That's beautiful.
and now the
I feel
wafer
beautiful.
has been
Damn it.
magically turned into
This broken wing.
and the blood,
Bum, 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 bum,
of Jesus
bum,
Christ.
bum.
That's witchcraft. That's what they're performing. I have an idea, and I've already kind of started an idea for a book called Vatican Wizards, and I will detail in this book exactly what these priests are doing. They're performing magic, witchcraft, sorcery, you name it. And every Catholic in the world, when they pray to
Bum, bum,
anything
bum, bum,
other
bum,
than
bum, bum, bum.
Lord Jesus Christ,
These
they're
broken
consulting with
wings.
So we will try to pick this back up on Thursday. Come join us tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
I beat the shit out of things tonight. Nigger, get over there, honky bitch.
About changing the midweek service from
I'm gonna fucking maim you. Get over there, goddamn. Fucking nigger, I'm gonna slit your goddamn throat. God damn it.
God's people have helped me. Be one of those people. Okay? Be one of those people that helps those who cannot help themselves. Okay? God bless you. I love you. We'll see ya.
I have two books at my bedside, Lieutenant. The Marine Corps Code of Conduct and the King James Bible. We're on a mission from God. Entitled, you want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Maybe we should chug on over to Mamby-Pamby land where maybe we can find some self-confidence for you, you jackwagon.
Coming to you live from his padded cell high atop Bethel Church, the most heralded, the most despised talk show in all of human history. This is the talk show hell hates. This is Pastor Mike Online.
Now you can hear me. Wide open. There we go. Good to be with you today. I am a little bit under the weather today. Just that body ache that happens when weather changes. And Sunday, let's see, no, Saturday was like 92 degrees here, summertime feel, and then it started cooling off a little bit on Sunday, and let's see, Saturday night, I was in bad shape, rough shape, and just hurt all over. I mean, everything on me. So I knew the weather was going to change simply by how I felt. And if anybody says that's old wives' fables, that's all, what do they call it? Anecdotal medicine.
Oh, you fucking idiot.
It's true. I had a doctor to tell me that. He asked me, he said, do you know why you're in pain so much? I said, well, I don't know. I kind of think it's the weather, but, and he said, why wouldn't it be? But people can, especially the older you get, you can start feeling temperature changes, pressure changes. When I was in the great city of Ponca, Arkansas, last, where's my iPad? I brought my iPad over here. I was staying in an RV park way up on top of this big mountain. It's an Ozark mountain, but it's a mountain. And then I had to descend, I don't know, 500, 1,000 feet, I don't know.
I'm going to refill every day.
Go to this church, Moxley Baptist Church. And just that, being in that atmosphere, kind of had me under the weather. So anyway, I didn't feel too bad yesterday, but today it's in to get. We're supposed to get our first hard freeze tonight. So, Saturday we went from 92 degrees, and probably by
subscribe, you guys. Thank you for watching. Peace out.